Right, so this is an image for our intern, Kira. This is a testimonial from a teacher. The teacher emailed this picture for her. We asked her for a picture to go with the testimonial, and this is what she emailed to us. And so I'm in Lightroom here, and I want to show you this is the before, and that's the after, and I want to show you what we did. Over here, we are in the this first levels section, and that's the only place we're going to make changes. So the first thing I'm showing you here is the white balance. And that's just to kind of bring up the whites a little bit. Sometimes when an image is dark, I find that to be a good way to do that. And then the temperature at -14, if I double click it, that's what it came in as you'll recall. And so I've just changed temper, cool it down a little bit to get a little more true. Sometimes the lighting and things within a room will do that. Vibrance, I tend to always just throw a little vibrance on it. You might not be able to see the difference, but there's just a little bit of richness added to the color. And then down here, this is this is what a lot of people like, is the noise reduction. So this is at 53, and if I bring this all the way down, what this is just kind of smoothing out what it's calling noise reduction in the picture. There's color, and we're in the detail. So we're just kind of bringing that down. So that's where that things get softened up. And that's it. That's what I did in Lightroom. So that's after, before, and the next step I'll show in the next video. All right, in the last video in Lightroom, we took this original image that was sent for the profile pic, and we kind of colored it a little bit and kind of smoothed things out, changed the temperature. And the next thing we want to do is I want to blur this background out. And so what I do, I use a program called Remove.bg. So remove.bg.com, you can upload an image and it'll cut out the background. And I did that here with her. So this is the her image not cut out like that. That's the one before. Over here in Figma, here's the original picture just so you can side by side. So I've created this, what's called a frame. So we use this here and we create a square frame, and I just frame it to get as close to square as the images as I possibly can. And then what I did is, I'm gonna turn off that one real quick. Let me show you here. So the first thing I did was I took let me turn this one off too. I took the original image, and I'm going to turn off this layer blur. And so this is the image, and it's inside the frame, the square frame. So you can see that here's the height of the image, and we can move that around. So I went and got it squared up within the size of a frame, so they're equally square like that. And then I added this layer blur. You can use these different effects on the layer, drop shadow, inner shadow. So I go to layer blur, and then over here, if you click on there, I blurred it up to 4. You can change how much blur you're doing, but I just kind of went with a 4. And then I took the image that we had cut out, and that's this image. So if I turn that off, that was the one we cut out and remove background. So if you turn that on, you get a blurry background. The problem with the frame, so if I go to the frame here, is I got a little, it's not exactly square. I had to size it down a little bit more to get more of her head, to get a little bit more space around her head as much as possible, because there's going to be a circle that's going around here. And so, so I duplicated the image, this blurry image. I added another one behind it. So I just, and then what I did here, is that I blurred it even more, and then I stretched it out. So that behind here, like if you turn it off and on, it's kind of a little bit bigger, a little bit blurry. So it added something very similar. So it's hard to see that there's an actual cut. So that's how I kind of fixed the idea that I need a little bit more square. And then I exported that out using JPEG. JPEG's the best for images. I'm just going with the regular size. Here it is installed in the site that we're building for Kira. Here it is. Let me edit this. So we added this is a gallery section that we added. And so when you add content, if I go to the content here, you just add the image as a square, and then you add to, if you double click here, you can edit the title and the description. But then back over here in design, we use image crop. There's an option here. You can do it to different sizes, but we did this image crop as a circle, and that's what makes it a circle like that. And then over here in style is how I set the height of the name and the item description, a little bigger on the description. And then the size in terms of design, media first. You could go content first, and that changes that, but that's media first. Circle, style, sizing, and spacing. Media width, that's the image. I wanted that to be smaller, so I went with a small version there. Placements centered, and then content width is large, and that would be that down there. So I want these quotes to be as big as possible. But there it is. That's how it worked out. When teachers and people give us testimonials, that's one thing I like to do as much as possible is try and make their picture come back where they love it. They're like, oh my gosh, it looks even better. So I like to put the extra time in there and use these tools to set up our testimonials.